How many times have you wished to escape your past? The mistakes, the failures, the version of you that no longer aligns with who you want to be. There's an inner voice that whispers, it's time for change, a voice that begs for a rebirth. But it's not about erasing the past, it's about learning to bury the old self and step into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of you. Today, we'll explore the philosophy of Stoicism, a framework not only for enduring life's hardships, but for rising above them. It's a philosophy that teaches us to let go of what no longer serves us, so we can cultivate a new, more empowered version of ourselves. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to embrace your own transformation. We'll break down 10 powerful Stoic principles that will show you how to shed the weight of your old self and emerge renewed, stronger than ever. Stay with me until the end, because this journey we're about to take might just be the beginning of your new life. Principle 1. The power of perception. Let's start with the most foundational concept in Stoicism, the power of perception. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, famously said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But what does this really mean? The Stoics believed that the way we perceive events is more important than the events themselves. Consider this. Two people could experience the same setback, losing a job, for example, but their responses can be completely different. One person might see it as the end of the world, while the other views it as an opportunity to find something better. It's not the event that defines us, but how we perceive and respond to it. Marcus Aurelius himself faced endless difficulties during his reign as Roman emperor, plagues, wars, betrayals, but he remained steadfast in his duties. His strength didn't come from controlling external events, but from mastering his perception of those events. By seeing adversity as something within his control, he was able to remain calm and composed. When you find yourself overwhelmed by life's challenges, take a step back and ask yourself, how am I perceiving this? Am I viewing it as a catastrophe, or can I shift my perspective to see it as a lesson, a stepping stone to something greater? This simple change in perception is the first step to burying the old you, the one that was reactive, fearful, and consumed by negativity, and becoming a person who embraces every situation with strength and clarity. The new self is one who perceives setbacks not as defeats, but as opportunities for growth. Make it a daily practice to reflect on how your mind is coloring the events in your life. With this awareness, you begin the process of transformation. Principle 2. Focus on what you can control. The second principle we'll explore is the dichotomy of control. This idea, famously articulated by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, is simple yet profound. Focus only on what you can control and let go of the rest. Think about how much energy we waste trying to control things that are beyond our grasp. Other people's opinions, external circumstances, even the past. We torment ourselves with thoughts like, if only this person liked me, or if only I had made a different decision years ago. But all of this is out of our hands. The only thing we can control is how we think, how we act, and how we respond. Epictetus himself was born into slavery. He had no control over his external circumstances, yet he found freedom through his mind. Despite his hardships, he chose to focus on his inner world, the only thing within his power. He realized that while we can't control what happens to us, we can always control our response. Start by recognizing what is truly within your control. Ask yourself, can I change this situation, or is it out of my hands? If it's beyond your control, let it go. The old self tries to grasp everything, desperately seeking control over things that are inherently uncontrollable. The new self, grounded in Stoicism, knows that true power lies in controlling our thoughts and actions. When you focus on what you can control, you free yourself from the anxiety of the uncontrollable. This is where transformation begins, letting go of what no longer serves you, so you can focus your energy on what does. Principle 3. Embrace adversity. Principle 3 is one that many people shy away from, but it's critical for your transformation. Embrace adversity. The Stoics understood that adversity is not an enemy, but a teacher. As Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Adversity is like weightlifting for the soul. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, more resilient, and more capable. Consider the life of Seneca himself. A statesman, philosopher, and advisor to the emperor, he faced exile, betrayal, and even forced suicide. Yet, Seneca never wavered in his Stoic belief that adversity was a natural part of life and a necessary condition for growth. Instead of cursing his fate, he embraced it, using hardship as a tool for self-improvement. When adversity strikes, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" The old self sees challenges as obstacles, reasons to give up or retreat into comfort. The new self recognizes adversity as the forge in which character is built. Take every challenge as an opportunity to sharpen your resilience, to practice patience, and to develop your inner strength. Each time you do, you bury the old, weaker version of yourself and become something stronger, more capable. Principle 4. Live in accordance with nature. The fourth Stoic principle is living in accordance with nature. This is a concept deeply embedded in Stoic philosophy. For the Stoics, nature didn't just mean the environment or the physical world, it also referred to human nature and the rational order of the universe. To live in accordance with nature means to align yourself with the way things are, rather than constantly wishing they were different. It's about accepting reality as it is, not as you would like it to be. Marcus Aurelius spent much of his reign fighting wars and dealing with crises. Yet, in his famous Meditations, he often wrote about the importance of accepting the natural flow of events. He understood that while he could not control external circumstances, he could always choose how to respond to them, in harmony with the greater order of the universe. Think about the areas of your life where you're resisting reality. Are you constantly frustrated because things aren't going the way you want them to? The old self tries to fight against the natural flow, creating stress and dissatisfaction. The new self, however, understands that there is peace in accepting life's natural course. When you live in accordance with nature, you stop resisting change and instead learn to flow with it. This doesn't mean passive acceptance. It means understanding what can be influenced and what must be embraced. By aligning with the natural order, you step into a state of harmony with the world around you, and this is where true transformation begins. Principle 5. Practice gratitude. This simple yet profound practice is the fifth Stoic principle we'll explore today. Marcus Aurelius reminded us in his Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." In our fast-paced, success-driven society, it's easy to focus on what we lack. We compare ourselves to others, wishing for more wealth, more recognition, more things. But gratitude shifts your focus away from scarcity and towards abundance. Seneca, despite his immense wealth, always advocated for simple living and the practice of gratitude. He argued that even in the most difficult circumstances, there is always something to be grateful for. When he was forced to take his own life, Seneca remained calm, grateful for the life he had lived and the wisdom he had gained. Every morning, start your day with a moment of gratitude. Reflect on what you have, rather than what you lack. The old self is constantly looking for what's missing, what's wrong. The new self, however, understands that life's true richness comes from appreciating what's already here. Gratitude creates a mental shift. It lifts you out of the cycle of dissatisfaction and opens your eyes to the many blessings you may have overlooked. By practicing gratitude daily, you begin to free yourself from the old patterns of envy, scarcity, and dissatisfaction. You step into a mindset of abundance, and this is where transformation truly takes root. Principle 6. Detach from the outcome. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do. In today's world, we're often obsessed with results, whether it's career success, financial gain, or personal achievement. But the Stoics believed that the only thing that truly matters is the integrity of our actions, not the outcome. When we detach from results, we liberate ourselves from the stress and anxiety that come from things outside our control. Consider Marcus Aurelius once again. Despite being emperor, he understood that he couldn't control the success or failure of his military campaigns. What he could control, however, was his own conduct, his virtue, and his dedication to duty. By focusing on doing what was right, rather than obsessing over the results, Marcus Aurelius maintained his inner peace even in the most difficult times. Start by setting your intentions based on virtue, not outcomes. Focus on the process rather than the result. For example, if you're working on a project, focus on doing your best rather than worrying about how others will receive it. The old self is attached to success, recognition, and external validation. The new self, however, is content with knowing that you've done your best, regardless of the outcome. Detaching from the outcome frees you from the fear of failure and the constant need for approval. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, your own effort, integrity, and inner growth. This is the mindset of someone who has buried their old self and embraced a new way of being. Principle 7. Understand the impermanence of life. The seventh Stoic principle is one that can radically change the way you view life: understanding impermanence. Stoicism teaches us that everything in life is temporary: our successes, our failures, even our very existence. As Seneca wisely pointed out, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Stoic philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the brevity of life. They reminded themselves daily that time is fleeting and that death is the ultimate end for all of us. But this wasn't a morbid fixation. It was a way to keep themselves focused on what truly matters. When you truly understand that life is temporary, it changes the way you live. You stop wasting time on trivialities and you begin to focus on what's meaningful. The old self clings to illusions of permanence, believing that there's always more time, that things will always stay the same. The new self, however, embraces impermanence and uses it as motivation to live fully, to act decisively, and to love deeply. By reflecting on the impermanence of life, you gain clarity about what's truly important. This clarity helps you make better decisions, and it frees you from the old habits of procrastination, indecision, and fear. With this understanding, you step into a new way of living, one that's focused on the present moment and the opportunities it offers. Principle 8. Cultivate inner strength. Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from within, not from external circumstances. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In a world that often values physical strength, wealth, and status, Stoicism offers a different perspective. Inner strength is not about dominating others or accumulating power. It's about mastering yourself, your thoughts, and your emotions. Consider Epictetus, who was born into slavery. Despite his external circumstances, he developed an unshakable inner strength by focusing on what was within his control, his mind, and his attitude. Even though he couldn't change his external reality, he cultivated an internal fortress that no one could penetrate. Begin by recognizing that your true strength lies within you, not in external achievements or possessions. The old self looks for validation from others, relying on external circumstances to feel secure. The new self, however, understands that inner strength comes from self-discipline, resilience, and mental fortitude. When you cultivate inner strength, you become unshakable. No matter what life throws at you, you remain calm, focused, and in control of your reactions. This inner strength is the foundation of your transformation. It's what allows you to bury the old self, and rise as a new, more powerful version of yourself. Principle 9. Practice self-discipline. This principle is one of the most important tools for personal transformation. The Stoics understood that true freedom comes from self-mastery. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Discipline isn't just about controlling your actions, it's about controlling your thoughts, your desires, and your impulses. It's about staying committed to your principles, even when it's difficult. Consider the life of Marcus Aurelius, who, despite being emperor, adhered to a strict daily routine of self-reflection, writing, and discipline. He didn't allow his power or status to distract him from his Stoic principles. His self-discipline was what enabled him to lead with wisdom and integrity, even in the face of immense challenges. Start by setting small, achievable goals that require discipline, whether it's waking up earlier, exercising regularly, or dedicating time to self-reflection. The old self is ruled by whims, distractions, and cravings. The new self, however, practices discipline and self-control in all aspects of life. Discipline is the foundation of your transformation. It's what enables you to follow through on your commitments, to resist distractions, and to stay focused on what truly matters. Each time you practice discipline, you strengthen your ability to transform, burying the old self that was easily swayed by impulses and distractions. Principle 10. Reflect on mortality. The final principle, and perhaps the most transformative, is memento mori. Remember, you will die. The Stoics often reflected on death, not to be morbid, but to remind themselves of the preciousness of life. As Epictetus said, "Let death and exile and all other things which appear dreadful be daily before your eyes." When you reflect on your mortality, you gain a sense of urgency. You realize that every moment is a gift, and that time is the most precious resource you have. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about death in his Meditations, reminding himself that life is short and that he must use his time wisely. This awareness of death drove him to live with purpose, to act decisively, and to remain focused on what truly mattered. Take a moment each day to reflect on your mortality. This doesn't mean dwelling on death, but rather using it as motivation to live fully. The old self avoids thinking about death, clinging to the illusion of permanence. The new self, however, embraces the reality of mortality and uses it as a guide for living a meaningful life. When you reflect on death, you become more intentional with your time. You stop wasting it on trivial matters and focus on what truly matters: your relationships, your passions, and your personal growth. By remembering that your time is limited, you gain the courage to take bold actions and to live authentically. We've now explored 10 powerful Stoic principles that can help you bury your old self and step into a new, more empowered version of you. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires daily practice, reflection, and commitment to these principles. Remember, the power of perception, the importance of focusing on what you can control, embracing adversity, living in accordance with nature, practicing gratitude, detaching from outcomes, understanding impermanence, cultivating inner strength, mastering self-discipline, and reflecting on mortality are all keys to unlocking a life of purpose, resilience, and inner peace. If you've found value in this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Be Stoic, for more content that will help you master the Stoic way of life. Also, check out my other videos where we dive deeper into Stoic wisdom, helping you live with courage, strength, and purpose. The journey doesn't end here. This is just the beginning of your transformation. Remember, every day is an opportunity to bury your old self and become new.